Hello, it's Hyrule Warriors time. Why? Because they keep on announcing crap for Age of Calamity, and thus I'm just excited. I think this will work. I think it just needs to be the sword type, not the exact model. Yeah. It's been a while since I played this story to this. Nothing groundbreaking, but it is fun. This is... oh, duh, that's right. I get that she's like the bodyguard and everything, but does she really just like hang around while she's sleeping? I mean, she gets points for not just staring at Zelda. For not just being like, ah, she's so pretty when she sleeps. I must watch you, my precious baby boo. I don't know how much of an age gap there is between those two. Impa has white hair, but she doesn't look super old on top of that, so I don't know. It's a bit of a show-off move, by the way. Everybody else is just kind of like, and stab forward. The fancy ones would probably be like, and stab and block. And then Link's like, hey, I'm gonna do like a flip into the air, and then, you know, smash you in the head while, you know, you're still completely below me. It's also kind of telling, it's like, who could it be? Faceless NPC number 20 bajillion? Or the blonde kid? Wasn't there a scene like this in freaking Attack on Titan? Also strikes me as funny the way he's running out there. Where it's just like everybody has the battle lines drawn and they're all just facing off and waiting, and then just this one dumb blonde kid's running out and he's like, ah!
Reach the cadets at the knight's training yard.
There goes any chance we had for negotiating. Oh my. Yeah. Also strikes me as weird about how an army can just like walk up on like a kingdom, because I feel like these days if anybody tried to just do something like that, one, like a place like the United States at least, we're populous enough, at least around the, you know, around coastal areas and everything, that if an army were to come from elsewhere and just be going around and everything, then, you know, people would see it well in advance, that crap be all over social media, it'd be a bloody mess. What am I doing? Where did all these monsters come from? I don't know, maybe you should have checked Twitter. People like the town next, you know, the next town over probably would have seen this coming. They would have like, hey, Hyrule, heads up. They're coming. Wait a sec. Wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec. I'm not supposed to have these yet, but I do have these. Yes, I did it. Still doesn't help me, but I did it. Yeah. I'm searching for the gold Skulltulas in this one. So... wow, she's inside me. That's not weird at all. Because Link isn't allowed to talk, so he needs a fairy to do it for him. Talk by proxy, if you will. Ha 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 ha. It's not like I was expecting really good. I shouldn't make fun. It's cute. It's cute. Yeah. Looking for Skulltulas, so when those pop up... actually, can I... tell me about the Skulltulas? It wants me to use the white sword, and I use the same type of weapon as the white sword, so does it count? Does it not count? Well, I need to do this again with a lesser weapon? That'd be kind of annoying. And oddly specific. I think... Okay, sure. Oh, I have to fight... somebody! Ooh, I won't spoil the surprise, but it's this guy. Come on, this is the tutorial. You think you're gonna beat me? No. I'm not even gonna take all your stinking health. You're gonna be like, whoa, man, I better leave. Does it burn when you pee? Remember when I was beating his ass really badly like 30 seconds ago? Does he have eyes under there, or is the helmet the thing that contains his eye? Did they dodge? Or is it magic? That's magic. Oh my. Normally you don't immediately get the stinking Triforce, but I'm not gonna not take it, I guess. You know? Da-da-da-ba. Anyway, yeah. Age of Calamity stuff, though, keeps on coming out, so I'll probably talk about that. So, if you don't want spoilers for what, you know, essentially are trailers, now is the time to just not. Because, yeah, I keep on wondering who will be in the game and who will be playable. The champions, yeah, Link and Zelda were obvious, of course. And I did kind of think Impa, because in the first trailer they did have the person who from behind looked exactly like Paya. So it took me a second. But I kind of figured Impa. Pura and Robbie, if I'm getting the names right. Oh, you stinkers! You sticky bottoms. They're in the game, but I don't know if they're playable. But I keep on thinking, like, whenever I'm going over things, I'm like, who would have been alive, like, 100 years ago? The king, he's there. He could be playable. I don't know. They make King of Red Lions, King Daphne's playable in this. I'm supposed to have a rapier, but I guess the last weapon I was using was this thing in Wind Waker. But that's still fine. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the king was. Pura and Robbie, I thought early on, I'm like, oh, those two were alive. I couldn't remember whether Pura was, you know, at what point she got young or not. I should have figured, though, that she'd be her, you know, regular self, because that's just a good way to include, you know, that little neat piece of history when she wasn't a tiny person. Forever. A child. But yeah, whether they'll be playable or not, I don't know. They kind of showed them off in a support role, but then again, this game also has frickin' Agatha as playable, so maybe not in like the main story or anything, but I could see, or maybe just for a few select missions, them being like, oh, use the camera as a weapon, because we're super quirky with the way we do, you know, stinking thingamajigs. Attack stuff. Weapons. Things. Stuff. So yeah, I don't know. That's up in the air. funny thing was, like, when I was thinking about it, I was just thinking of all the characters, and then I was thinking about, like, the freaking Yiga Chief, for whatever reason. And I was just like, oh, no, that'd be stupid. Because, you know, like, how's he gonna live to be over 100 years, right? Like, he was already full-grown in that. Which, I don't know, maybe the one in Breath of the Wild is his successor, because they definitely showed off, like, the Yiga Chief. I can't remember if his name was Koga like it was in the trailer, but I'm assuming it was. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like a descendant of his, or if that's actually like the same dingus that you fought. Come on, I can do this. So I'm very curious about that. And a little weirded out. And then, yeah, I was also thinking about, like, original characters, though. Because a lot of the licensed Dynasty Warriors games have them. Like, there's some in, you know, there's some in this game. There's definitely some in the Dragon Quest, and... Okay, why did I think I got something for that? The Dragon Quest... and the whatchamacallit. What is the other one I played? Why can't I think? Fire Emblem, you dingus. You dang dungle. But then I was thinking, I'm like, no, it'd be really weird if they put an original character in this, because it'd be like... You went on and on about the, you know, like, champions the entire game and everything. It'd be just kind of weird if there was one guy who was like... Oh... Billy, yeah, oh Billy, remember old Billy? He was frickin' whatchamacallit. He was one of our greatest allies. We did not bring him up. We forgot about him completely until Breath of the Wild 2. Plus, while there's while there's original characters in this game, they're not like the main character either. Because you already got Lynx. And this one's a little different than the typical whatchamacallit, licensed Dynasty Warriors games. So I figured, yeah, it might be different. But then the other day, it's not necessarily a new character, but they showed somebody in a robe who looked like an evil wizard. Can I do it? What do I need to do? Do I need both of them? I mean, I freaking guess. But yeah, I don't know. The evil wizard could be an original character. I could see them, you know, not mentioning him during the main thing of the... If he were to, like, die resurrected in Ganon or something. Then, you know, it wouldn't be all that weird for them not to mention him in Breath of the Wild. Because, you know, Ganon was still around, the Yiga clan was still around, monsters were still around. Why worry about a guy who's, you know, who, like, died during the main course of the game, you know, like the previous game or something. Be like, oh, remember Snagdor? He was the right hand to Ganon. We didn't really mention him because we were too busy dealing with other stuff during the game, but now that everything's over, we can talk about how he totally existed and was real. Why did you run all the way over here? Probably because I had you set for that. I got a message, I'll have to look at that in between. But yeah, I could see, you know... The other thing, though, is I could see him being... There's a few characters I could see that one being. The main one would be Vati, who's typically in a lot of the weird spin-off Zelda games. Like the replacement Ganon. A lot of times in like the handhelds. like 4 sword, I believe 4 swords and Minish Cap. He was a bad, bad man. Wizard fairy boy man. So, you know. My main guess would be Vadi, then original character, then after that, just so I can get him on record and say I was totally right, even though these are like the long shot ones. Could be a variation of Wizro, could be like freaking Ravio for whatever reason, just not looking so great. Could be, yeah, there might be other people I'm forgetting, but yeah. So I don't know, we'll see. Main reason why I think Vadi's a possibility is because there's a lot of time, you know, like, Koei Tecmo seems to really like their references with this sort of thing. So I could see them just being like, we remembered that Vadi existed, and then them throwing Vadi in there. And it'd be super fun and neat, and it'd be like, and, you know, most people would be like, oh, hey, I've never heard of this Vadi guy. But then people who were like super hardcore Zelda fans would be like, wow, that's so neat. They put in Vadi for whatever stupid reason. It'd be like, yeah, it's pretty dope. Oh no! Dodongos! Dodongos hate smoke. I'm thinking I didn't use the right weapon because I would have thought that the stupid Skulltula would have showed up by now. So I might do that. Yeah, you're gonna pop in right over here. You're gonna bust through the gate and it's gonna be like, oh my god! Why you done this? It's telling me to capture this, so I'm gonna capture this just in case that's what I need to trigger the thing. Plus, I think the boss will probably try and follow me. Just die. Just coming in here and beating up a bunch of just like really helpless. It honestly feels a little cruel. Which has always been the case, but for some reason, right now in particular, I'm like really noticing it. Yes. Yes! Yes! If only those gates were down! Actually, it might be quicker to do this. I'll be very quiet. Because I need to hear the damn Skulltula. Well, there was a rock over here, so it's conceivably under the rock I blew up. No, no, no. Come on, come on. Yes. Yes! 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 I must obsessively collect things, even though I will probably never 100% this game because it's freaking massive. Yeah. Anyway, other characters that I don't think were still alive 100 years ago were, I think, like, the only other one I can really think of off the top of, well, I guess there's always core arcs, and, oh dear lord, I can't believe I didn't think of it before. Like, Hatsu was his name? I can imagine he was probably around 100 years ago. And they normally have some bizarre picks for games like this, so it could definitely happen. Then there's also the guy that would sell you monster costumes or Monster Mask or whatever, so that it's like, no, don't kill me, I am your friend. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I'll bring them up if I think of any more, so that way I get credit, and people will be like, wow, he totally predicted it. Although I don't think anyone's ever gonna beat, like, the stinking, you know, Jim Sterling thing where he's like, Agatha could be playable. It's like, who would have ever thought that Agatha would be frickin' playable? That's ridiculous. She sits in a room and she's like, I'm gonna have a tea party with bugs. And then Koei Tecmo said to themselves, you know what? We can make, we can make a move set for little bug lady person. For what it's worth, I just got here, Impa. You were the bodyguard. You bungled this one. My scarf is clipping through my shield. I probably could have handled that info, but thank you. I got like one hell of a promotion. Random freaking, trainee man to... You are now the second in command of this army because we lost Princess Zelda and you have a hand tattoo. What if it was a hand tattoo? That was just really reflective.
Triforce is the harmonious
Goodness.
power, wisdom.
Yeah.
It has been the
Da-da-da-da-da.
battles between the forces of light and darkness. Each time the Triforce fell into the clutches of evil, Hyrule was...
How many times has that happened?
But in every...
How many times has that happened in a single timeline? Because there's like 3. And nobody knows where Breath of the Wild falls. It's interesting because I remember hearing
dark times,
a theory before that, this might have been before the actual timeline came out.
to finally break the cycle of destruction.
But like the theory was that all the Zelda games were pretty much, with direct sequels being the exception of course, but all the Zelda games were the same story, just a different telling of it.
Sealed in a sacred temple built upon holy ground.
Like when you look at the world's mythologies and everything, there's a lot of, there's a lot of overlap between them, right? So it could be that sort of thing where, like in some instances mythology tells the same story, but because different people have different interpretations of it, the same story comes out massively different. I almost got the thing! Made it so cute! Oh, great, I got part of Phi, whatever. But yeah, it was just an interesting little thing. Like, there's a similar theory for stinking Mario, where, every Mario game is just, like, a play, but they change up, like, the settings and some of the aesthetics and everything, but Mario has only defeated Bowser once, but every, Mario game is just an indifferent interpretation of it. Remember that time I defeated Mario? Well, remember that time I defeated Bowser? Okay, but what if the time I defeated Bowser, I actually defeated him in space? Dun dun dun! Dun 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 dun. That sort of thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back probably tomorrow with the Sheikah Tribesmen.